I'll work in small areas and I'll apply the masking fluid further away from the line of the fur and then pull it into the fur. And as it thins out, you can create pretty thin markings. I'll pick up a bit of this neutral gray and lay it along here. Just kind of get it in place. My goal is to have the color gradually transition from dark to light. Going to stop working with it, allow that color to dry completely, and then make further decisions. Okay, let's allow that to dry. Using the very tip of the brush, here's the lower edge. So I'm laying in with the very tip of the brush where this darkest shape will be. And now at the lower end of this shape, there will eventually be some hair markings. So I'll use the tip of the brush to create the beginnings of hair markings, just pulling the color before it has time to dry. Right now I'm focusing on what will be the darkest shapes. For example, right under the ear. This will help to create contour. Places that go darker in value often seem like they're receding or moving away from us, which helps to create bone structure. next dark shape I see is right here. And it's not the entire shape, it's just down around here. Creating some little hair markings right around this shape. Focusing on the darkest part. This needs to go darker, as does this, and when it dries, we'll take it darker. This is looking extremely sloppy right now, and that's all part of the process. In the next step, we'll create more balance. And slowly lay in the color, layer by layer. And as I get closer to this edge, I'm pulling to create hair markings. Use the tip of the brush as you get closer to the edge. Things are appearing unbalanced because we've got the darkest and lightest parts in place. And now I'll move to the midtones, those in-between values that aren't the darkest or lightest. And this will serve as a bridge, helping to create a smooth transition from dark to light. So this whole area right here, I'll take darker, using this consistency of thin milk, almost tea. That way we won't take it too dark. We'll just slowly take it darker until we're happy with the value. And keep grabbing the edges and softening the edges. You see I'm going right over the dark parts, and that's smoothing them out a bit, which is nice. That needs to dry, and I'll go back in there. And what I'll do is just go over this area again with a larger brush. So I'm laying in this color, the consistency of whole milk, creating very thick hairs. Right here, just kind of laying in the color, touching it with the tip of the brush, creating some textures and moving it around. Then I'll rinse the brush, wipe it on the towel, pull some of the edges. So begin where you feel confident, where you can clearly see what to do, and use the photo as a guide and create the length and the contour or the curve of the hairs that you see. These hairs are kind of curving around. I'm using the very tip of the brush. I'd like to just adjust this shape a bit. I'll touch in some darker color there with the tip of the brush. And then rinse the brush, wipe it on the towel, and just grab those little dots of color and pull them before they have time to dry. Kind of move them around so it appears more natural. Okay, good. And just a couple darker hairs I think are needed right here. Again, this will dry lighter in value. Now I'll keep focusing on the darker parts and place midtones around them. For example, this stripe, I'll get some midtones around it. Creating a bridge from dark to light. And use a very gentle touch. And the goal here is to smooth the textures slightly and take this area just a bit darker. I'll start with right along the edge. And I'm moving into the darker hair markings because if I go this way, I don't want the darks to be pulled this way, so I'm going this way. I feel like it's okay if some of these darks are pulled that way. Different lengths. Some are shorter, some are longer. And I'm having them kind of cross over each other. Overall, I want them to be very thin and tapered, so I'm barely touching the brush to the paper. And I rinse the brush and wipe it on the towel before picking up new color, so the paint doesn't clump on my brush. Some hairs are more pale. Some maybe are more intense. This is plain water. I'm just going over the area to smooth things out a bit more.